Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya. Ishvara Darshanam is changing your understanding of yourself, which is Atma Darshanam. That Atma Darshanam cannot be as an object. It is not a vision, a knowledge of an object, but it should be Atma Nishtha, abidance in the self. That alone is Ishvara Darshanam, and there is no other. Na anya Ishvara Drishtihi. There is no other real Ishvara Darshana. So turn your attention to your real I. And what is this I? Now begins a beautiful set of verses doing this vichara, inquiry. So let us read verse number 25. Na vakti deho'hamiti prasuptau. Na vakti deho'hamiti prasuptau. Na kopi nābhūvamiti pravakti. Na kopi nābhūvamiti pravakti. Yatrodite sarvamudeti tasya. Yatrodite sarvamudeti tasya. Dhiyā'hamaḥ śodhaya janma deśam. Dhiyā'hamaḥ śodhaya janma deśam. So in these verses, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi talks about the nature of ahankara, mysterious nature of ego. The false I is a peculiar concoction. It's a misconception born out of ignorance. This ego is an erroneous I. It's a false I. It's a strange combination. It's a mixture, peculiar mixture of anatma and atma. This atma and anatma are opposite, diametrically opposite. There is no question of mixing them up, but still, when you inquire, do the vichara of this ego, when you think about this ego, this ahankara, there is a strange combination of the two, atma and anatma. It's not possible, but still it is there. That is what makes it mysterious. When you do the vichara, it will disappear. Anything false will disappear upon inquiry. It will be there till you dig into it. Start doing the vichara, then the culprit will run away. So, Bhagwan is going to focus on this mysterious ahankara, mysterious nature of ahankara. So, there is a little bit shift in topic. Previous verse talked about the real I, the Atma, that darshanam and all that. Now we are starting on to talk about this false I, the ahankara. So, Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi asked the question here, who is saying, I am? When you say, I am, in that statement, who is it that is making this statement, I am? And Ramana Maharshi says, the body which is anatma, which is inert, can never say anything. So the body doesn't say I am. Atma also, it can never say I am, because it doesn't have the equipment. So in the whole creation, there are only two things. Atma, that is the Chetanam, the sentient. And this Anatma, which is Jada, inert. The body being inert, it cannot say anything. It cannot say I am. And Atma, which is sentient, but unfortunately, it does not have a mouth to speak. Does not have the equipment, organ of speech. It's not there. Then who says I am? So this is what is mysterious about it. So it has to be something different from both. But then there cannot be a third entity. Only two are there, Atma or Anatma. What is this third one you're talking about? So if you dig into this mystery, you will find that the so-called third entity is a mixture of certain features of Anatma and certain features of Atma. And this unholy mixture is Ahankara. And if you probe further, you will find that there is no substance to it. And that is the beauty. I'll give you a simple example. Suppose there is someone who has never heard of a fruit salad, let us say. And people are talking about fruit salad in a party or something like that, and he has never heard what a fruit salad is and wants to see what a fruit salad is. So, okay. So you bring him a cup of fruit salad and put it in front of him and say, this is fruit salad. He looks at it and takes a fork and starts picking up each fruit from it. So he picks up, let us say, a grape and looks at it and says, it's a grape. So he puts it aside. Then, whatever you use your imagination, banana that has been cut. So he picks up the banana, looks at it. It's a banana, puts it aside. Then a mango, a slice of an apple, whatever you put in that fruit salad. So one by one, he puts it away. And then, after he is done with the entire cup of fruit salad, what he ends up with is an empty cup. So he declares that there is nothing called fruit salad. In a way, he is right. It is only a name that is given to that mixture of various fruits. Ahankara is the same way. It's nothing there, but it's a mysterious entity having only a verbal existence. So when you start trying to find out what it is, there's nothing. Now, with this background, let us look at the verse. Deho'hamiti na pravakti. Deha, body, never says, I am. It is incapable of saying, because the body is inert matter. It is insentient. If that body had intrinsic sentience, death will never happen. Because if it were sentient, it will never say, I am dead. Because it is sentient. So it's very clear that the body does not say, I am. But there is someone else saying that through the body. That's one part. Then Bhagavan says, prasuptau na nābhūvamiti kopi na pravakti. Nobody says, I am non-existent in sleep. Everyone knows that I am existent in all three periods of time. I am existing in sleep also. Anybody have any doubt? No. If I am going to be non-existent in sleep, people will never go to sleep. So that means Atma, the real I, is existent in all three periods of time, including sleep. And one of the proofs is that nobody says, I am non-existent in sleep. But then nobody says, I am existent in sleep also while you are sleeping. Does the Atma say it is there, but does it say I am? It cannot say. In sleep also it cannot say, because at that time all the equipment are switched off. So previously we said the body cannot say I am. Does the Atma that is existent in all three periods of time, including the sleep, say I am? That also not possible. Atma also cannot say and does not say I am. How do you prove that? If Atma can say I am, in Sushupti sleep, Atma that is there should be able to say that. But nobody ever has heard Atma talk in sleep. If at all somebody talks in sleep, that is a different situation. Okay. Therefore, if body does not say I am, Atma also does not say I am, there has to be someone else saying I am. That third entity is ahankara, that is asleep in Sushupti and that wakes up in the waking state. That ahankara, which is neither the body nor the Atma, is that entity which is the cause of all transaction. That ahankara, which is not the body, it is not the Atma, but it's a cause of all transactions. The transactor I, the samsari I, is neither the body nor the Atma. Therefore, he says, yatra udite, in the wake of which is the rise of ahankara. Here yatra refers to ahankara, udite, that rises. Sarvamudeti, everything arises. Ahankara also has gone to temporary sleep, in sleep. That is also in laya. And all the pieces of equipment that we have at our disposal, that is all again dormant. So at that time, no transactions, no limitations, no worries, no pride, no jealousy. In fact, no samsara in sleep. But when you get up from sleep, the first thing that comes is the I thought. Then boom, everything comes. So Bhagavan says, attack that ahankara. Find out from where does it come. Śodhaya, saha, udaya. Inquire into, explore, dig into, research. Tasya, janma, deśam, which is the birthplace, the origin, the source, the cause of that ahamaha or ahankara. What is its origin? Where does it come from? You inquire into that peculiar I, with dhya, with the intellect. You probe into that. You explore this mystery. You take the help of the intellect to do that. The role of intellect is very important and very often misunderstood. I think that question came up in one of the classes. I don't know which one, about this intellect. Yeah, I think it came up in the Gita class. Last Sunday. Role of this intellect. People think that since Atman or Brahman is beyond intellect, one has to go to a transcendental state, go to samadhi, go beyond the intellect, where you will reach a higher state of consciousness. Do not have to use the intellect at all. Some people think that way. And they say, all these Vedanta classes, waste of time. Only useless academic exercise. And they question, what is the use of intellect? When that Atma is beyond that. Sometimes followers of Ramana Maharshi also fall into that trap. Just do, who am I? Inquiry. But how to do that? Don't use the intellect. No. Bhagavan very clearly says, you need to use the intellect. The need for intellect very clearly he indicates for self-inquiry. Do not misunderstand the role of intellect. We have to use the intellect. There are no two ways about it. Have to use the intellect to gain the knowledge of Atma, and then only you can gain abidance in that knowledge. You cannot skip that use of intellect and jump into Atmanishta. Not possible. True, intellect is not necessary. to experience Atma. Because it is never experienced. Atma is not an object of experience. But to know that fact, you have to use your intellect. That intellect is required to remove all anatma vastu associated with all the experience. And then what you will be left with is that. For that, intellect is required, guru is required, shastra is required, upadesha is required, all that is. Only with the intellect can I gain the knowledge that I am Atma, that ever experience consciousness. Mortality belongs to the body. Emotions belong to the mind. But I, the Atma, am ever free of all these limitations. All that. To know that, you have to use the intellect. You need a guru guiding you in this process. But mortality, that is the body's dharma. All the emotions, they all belong to the mind. I am not any of that. I am ever free of limitations. So you have to gain in the knowledge and you abide in that Atma. That is Saddarsanam. That is what is said here in this verse. Continuing, verse number 26. Deho na jānāti sato na janma. Deho na jānāti sato na janma. Dehapramāṇo'nya udeti madhye. Dehapramāṇo'nya udeti madhye. Aham kriti granti vibhaddha sukshma. Aham kriti granti vibhaddha sukshma. Sharira cheto bhavajivanam. Sharira cheto bhavajivanam. So Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi continues with the topic of ahaṅkāra vichāra. As I said, this peculiar combination of some features of Atma and some features of Anatma, that concoction is ahaṅkāra. The 5 verses 23 through 27 deal with ahaṅkāra. So here he says, dehaha na jānāti. The body does not know. In earlier verse, it was said, deha does not say I am. Now here he says, the body does not know. And so it can never say I know. I am a mortal living in the body. It cannot say. I am a sentient being. The body does not say that either. It cannot say any of that. If the body can say that, it will become a sentient being. Body can never say that. And as we had already mentioned, if the body can say that it is a sentient being, the body is endowed with its own sentience, it will not die. The so-called dead body will be talking, which means it is not dead. Therefore, this inert body can never say, I am a mortal, conscious being. Not possible. Similarly, can Atma say, I am a conscious being? Satah na janma. Existence, Atma, has no birth. Atma cannot and does not say, I am. Why? If Atma says, I am, it should be saying, I am the immortal Atma, because it is birthless. So if it were to say, I am, it must be declaring, na jayate mriyate va kadachit. I am not born, I do not die. Therefore, satah, existence. Atma has no birth. So Atma does not say, I am a mortal sentient being, because it is not mortal. Body also cannot say, I am a mortal sentient being, because it is not sentient. Therefore, there is a peculiar I that has taken the mortality from the body and consciousness from Atma and says, I am a mortal sentient being. When you and I say, I'm going to die, and then you and I also say, I am sentient, I know this, I know that. All of us claim. We say both, right? The body cannot say it is sentient, nor can it say, I am mortal. All that cannot say, because it is inert. Atma also doesn't go about saying all that. But something is saying all that. There will not be any problem if this mix-up happens knowingly. But our problem is in ignorance. We make those statements. The nature of Atma and the nature of Anatma gets mixed up without knowing. In ignorance, we mix it up and form this ahankara, which is another entity, anyah udeti madhye. This is the gate crasher. This ahankara has crashed into this party. This Atma and Anatma there, and then in the middle, this ahankara comes. What is the size of this entity? It is said here, dehapramāṇo'nya. It is of the size of the body. Because we have this identity, right? When you say, I, what kind of a notion do you have? When I look at myself and ask, I, up to here, I, and 1 millimeter outside, it's not there. So, our notion, in ignorance, our notion is this ahankara is of the size of the body. It is located in the body. Limitations such as all this for that ahankara is borrowed from the body. The sentience and all that is borrowed from where? From Atma. So this entity, this ahankara, takes a little bit of this, takes a little bit of that, and then claims. So this ahankara is really an imposter, not a real I. It is false. Any false identity has to take a new name. This is identity theft of any cheat. Ahankara is the number one cheat in the world. And therefore it has several names. All these people who go on to this social media, they always have to come up with new names, several names. Bhagavan here gives a long list for this ahankara. Ahankriti, I do. That entity keeps on saying, I do this, I do that, and whatnot, I do. It's only ahankara that says all this. So ahankara is called ahankriti. It's a feminine form of ahankara. Granthi. Granthi means a knot. And this word is used in the Upanishad itself. Avidya granthim vihiratiha saumya. In the Mundaka Upanishad. Vidyate śodhaya granthi. We have seen that also. Ahankara is called a knot because of two reasons. One reason is it cannot easily be removed. Tight knot. Cannot be untied easily. Old knot that has been tied a long time back will be so tight. You all heard about the Gordian knot. Similarly, this knot of ahankara not easily removed. Even after 20-25 years of Vedantic studies, people do not look at themselves as the infinite Atma, but only as a limited individual. Another reason is ahankara is formed by joining two things. We just saw the consciousness, the sentience of Atma, and the mortality of the body. Little bit of this, little bit of that. That creates this mortal consciousness. So this ahankara is a joint venture. So it's called a knot. Knot symbolizes a union, a combination. Then vibandha. The third name is bondage. Vibandha. Ahankara does not have bondage. Ahankara is the bondage. There's no question of a free ahankara. A free ahankara is an oxymoron, illogical. It's a contradiction in terms. How can you have a free bondage? Therefore, ahankara is called vibandha, a bondage. No question of moksha retaining ahankara. So, moksha is freedom from individuality. It is not a freedom that an individual gains, but it is liberation from the bondage of individuality. So, ahankara is called vibandha. Then the fourth name is sukshma shariram. Because it is nothing but a thought. This I notion is a thought arising in the subtle body. The ahankara is generated in the mind in the form of a I thought. That is why when the I thought is resolved in sleep, ahankara is temporarily dormant. Then the next name that is given is chetaha. Again, as we now said, ahankara is the I thought. When the mind is active, ahankara is there. The mind. It's not there in sleep. So subtle body, mind are all figurative names given for ahankara. Then bhavaha, meaning samsara. We've already talked about vibandha, bondage. The idea is the same. Finally, jiva nama, the name jiva, one who lives, one who is born and lives in the body, is called jivaha. So all these are 7 different names are given for ahankara. It is actually a false, fictitious entity, but causes so much trouble. Depending on the various ways you look at it, it gets all these names. Okay, these are all different names for ahankara. Verse number 27 next. Rūpāśano 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 dhūtagṛhītarūpaḥ rūpāśano dhūtagṛhītarūpaḥ svayaṁ virūpaḥ svavicārakāle svayaṁ virūpaḥ svavicārakāle dhāvatyahaṅkārapiśāca eṣaḥ dhāvatyahaṅkārapiśāca eṣaḥ. It was said in the previous verses that this ahankara is a intermediate entity. It has come in the middle, formed with some features of Atma, some features of Anatma. The main feature of Atma it has borrowed is sentience, consciousness. So whenever you say I am, the very expression indicates consciousness, because only a self-conscious entity can say I am. A table or chair never says I am, because they are inert. Only a live entity can say that. A conscious entity can say or think I am. So I am indicates sentience, conscious feature. This feature it is borrowed from Atma. If I say I am and stop there, there's no problem. Ahankara has not reared its ugly head yet. In fact, it will be wonderful. I say that I am. You say that I am. And each one of us say I am. We are all identified with Atma. That's wonderful. When we do not stop there with I am, but add various attributes. Add that masala. Then all that attributes are borrowed from Anatma. Attributes are not borrowed from Atma because it is attributeless. It's nirguna. When I say I am a man, when one of you ladies say I am a woman, or when I say I am fat or lean, I am dumb or I am brilliant, all these are borrowed from the physical body or the state of mind or my intellect. Okay. So also when I say I am hungry, thirsty, they are all what? They are the various conditions of the pranamaya kosha. Every later attribute that gets added to I am is borrowed from Anatma. Physical body, Anatma. Pranamaya kosha, Anatma. Manomaya kosha, Anatma. Intellect, Anatma. So Any statement, I am such and such, it combines the sentience of Atma, the I am part, and then the Anatma part, and the mysterious entity called Ahankara is born. The features of Anatma keeps on changing. But the I am part does not change. When you were 5 years old, you said, I am. When you are 50 years old, you still say, I am. When you turn 90, hopefully you will be there and will be able to say, I am. I am stays the same, but 5, 50 or 90, that keeps on changing. The Atma feature does not change, but the Anatma feature changes. Therefore, Ramana Maharshi says, Ahankara has various forms, countless forms, depending upon the countless properties or attributes of the body, mind, etc. etc. When the organs of action, karmendriyas, are working, functioning, Ahankara manifests, expresses as karta, doer. When the organs of perception, jnanendriyas, they are working, functioning, and you are experiencing the world, the very same Ahankara has become the experiencer, the enjoyer, the bhokta. Vishvam pashyati karya karanataya swasvami sambandhatah shishyacharyataya tataiva pitruputradhyatmana vedatah. We saw in Dakshinamurti. Thus, Ahankara changes depending upon the attributes of the Anatma. So, the birth of Ahankara is because of the attribute of the Anatma. The existence of Ahankara is because of the attribute of Anatma. So the resolution also is also because of the resolution of the attributes of the Anatma. So Bhagavan says, rūpāśano, Ahankara arises along with udbhavaha, the rise of rūpa, the attribute of the body, mind, intellect complex. In sleep, deep sleep, Anatma is resolved. All attributes are resolved. Properties are resolved. Everything is dormant. So the Ahankara also is quiet, dormant, resolved. So Rūpa Udbhavaha, attributes are the source of Ahankara. Then Rūpatati Pratishtitaha, the attribute is the field in which Ahankara moves about. It's born from there and it's playing around in that attributes only. Rūpatatihi means group, multitude of attributes. And the body is sick, Ahankara says, I am sick. The mind is in a happy state. Again, this is the Ahankara which says, I am happy. When the intellect is dull, not able to understand, Ahankara says, I am unable to understand. Thus, in keeping with the attributes of all these Anatma, group of Rūpatatihi functions Pratishtita. Then Rūpaśano, rūpāśano, properties of Anatma, āśana is also the food for Ahankara. The very survival of ahankara depends on these borrowed properties of anatma. The proof is the experience of sleep. During sleep, the world is dissolved for the sleeper. The body is dissolved for the sleeper. The mind is dissolved for the sleeper. So the sleeper cannot borrow anything. So the ahankara is dissolved. The power supply is cut. Ahankara cannot survive. Therefore, rūpāśano hai and dhūtagṛhītarūpaḥ, like the person changing dress all the time. The ahankara also takes on varieties of attributes and sheds attributes moment to moment. See how it goes. When my son is in front of me, I say I am the father. Son goes away, wife comes, I am the husband. Then I go to work, I am the boss. And my boss comes, I am the subordinate. Like that, this ahankara drops, dhūta and grihita, drops and dons various rūpaḥ attributes. In the class, you are a student. The moment the class is over, you become a wife or a mother or a father or a husband, grandmother, whatever. So ahankara takes on various roles. So rūpāodbhava refers to srishti karana. Rūpātātipratiṣṭho refers to the sthiti karana. And rūpāśano refers to laya karana. Thus is the srishti, sthiti and laya of ahankara. Therefore, ahankara is dhūtagṛhītarūpaḥ, dropping and taking on attributes. So, savikārah, the subject to modifications, whereas atma is nirvikārah. The I am part corresponds to sat and chit, that is atma. The rest is only due to attributes. So, ahankara minus attributes is atma. Interestingly, svayaṁ virūpaḥ by itself does not have any features. So, Ramana Maharshi says ahankara has no intrinsic features. The attributes go to anatma, rest is atma. Ahankara has nothing to show for itself. It is a myth, it is pithless. Svayaṁ virūpaḥ. It lives a borrowed life. The first entity that lives on credit is ahankara. And this myth, ahankara, can be destroyed only by inquiry. Svavicārakāle, when you investigate, dhāvati runs away. Do anything other than inquiry, ahankara gets reinforced. Any amount of karmas actions do, then ahankara will claim, I am the achiever. Every action stokes it, boosts its ego. Any upasana, so-called selfless service, will build up ahankara. Even bhakti, that bhaktas boast. His humility does not really do it. He claims, I am the greatest bhakta. The only thing that destroys ahankara is inquiry. When you do the inquiry, ahankara piśāca. Piśāca eṣaḥ. This ahankara is like a ghost. Piśāca. Ahankara has only a ghostly existence, does not have real existence. When you inquire, this ghost runs away. Try to remove darkness by any other means, it will not work. You'll have to bring a light. When you go with the light, the darkness does not really go away, but you understand that there is no darkness at all. Similarly, ahankara is not there at all. Bhagavan gives a beautiful example of an impostor, a fraud, who crashes a marriage party. I've run out of time, but you have heard this example before. Somebody, he doesn't belong to the bride's party or groom's party. He just saw a wedding hall. I'll go in, have a nice, nice meal. Goes there. He's a great crasher. Ahankara is that way. Doesn't belong to the Atma party, does not belong to the Anatma party, but comes in and has a jolly good life as long as it lasts. You inquire in that, somebody asks him, who are you with? As they start asking the question, runs away. Ahankara is the same way. You inquire in that and it runs away. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.